Let me ask you what might sound like a silly question, but do you have a favorite wood?
A pianist who their favorite composer is. American white oak is, to me, the most noble of woods. It's the stoutest. It's incredibly dense. It's what the hulls of old wooden ships were built of.
But if you were wearing a microphone...
If I was wearing a pack.
Right, so you
just shoved it on.
You look like you got a pack going on in there right now.
This is real mystic and all, but do you have anything to eat here?
So we decided we're all going to sit at the table and have us a little dinner. And everybody wanted me to do myrtle.
Swirl it around, bring it up and say, hello. Then you go back to it, how are you? And then go back to it, quite well. Thank you very much.
I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious.
He said we're going the wrong way.
Oh, he's drunk. How would he know where we're going?
Yeah, how would he know? Thank you. Thanks a lot. Terrific.
Thank you.
What a moron.
Well, hello and welcome to yet another episode of What the Hell Did You Expect? I am your host, Kevin Ryan, weighing in this week at 192 pounds, same as last week. This is episode number... Is it 16?
No, this is 15.
No, wait, last week was 15. This is 16.
Oh my god.
This is episode number 16
okay.
in a collector's series. And, I mean, I guess I really don't need to introduce you now since you've already talked, but
yeah,
I'll introduce you for the hell of it. Wait, let's pretend you didn't talk. Ready? Okay. And with us now is my wonderful trusty steed, lifelong companion, and occasional painting partner, like that time he painted me on that boat, Colin Suplee.
Steed?
Oh my god, are you serious? What the hell? That really doesn't translate to radio very well. Okay,
I wanted to freak you out on the show.
What Colin does on a regular basis, Colin's hair is long and a little bit unkempt, so he has taken to wearing a very cool hat most of the time, which hides most of his head. And what he just did was the most dickish reveal, because he just whips his hat off, and he's got this bright fuchsia streak through his hair.
Oh yeah, I dyed my hair.
Care to explain?
That's it.
You dyed your hair?
Last night, Lee and a couple other friends and I
was there drunkenness involved?
No. I've been
Really?
wanting to dye my hair for like a year, and we just like, let's dye our hair. So it's like I dyed my hair red. Not all of it, like the front bit.
You know, you like over the past, I guess, year or so.
Yeah.
You've been further and further cultivating sort of a high school goth look.
My god, Kevin. I'm so past that.
No, I'm serious. Like with the black combat, or not combat boots, but still
Doc Martens, yeah.
the black boots and like big baggy black cargo pants, and you're wearing a black shirt, and for a while you even had black nail polish on.
Yeah, I did.
And
my coat makes me look like a wizard. There's that.
Yeah, and you have a streak of like fuchsia through your hair. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not saying it's
red, but whatever.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm just saying it's really entertaining that, of all people, you, Colin Suplee, are doing like a goth-ish thing. At least the way I see it. I don't know.
I don't feel goth enough, because when I think of my goth friends who I had in high school, they were way more, and they like wore like eyeliner and had the nails and the boots and the socks, and Kevin is holding an ice cube right now, and it's quite amusing. I'm sorry. This is the show where we do a bunch of funny things that you can't see because it's a radio show.
It really doesn't translate into radio at all. I didn't know you had goth friends in high school. I had like...
They had an influence on me.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Like, I had some strange, like... Are you familiar with, like, scene? Like,
vaguely.
The difference between
I know it's a tag on some of the porn
and
websites I frequent.
Oh, well, not quite that.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't hang out with porn stars or anything.
I'd really like to try that someday, though. Real talk?
I don't know.
It'd be so interesting.
I really don't think it would be. It's really just people who are paid to have sex. That's all it is.
Oh, okay. Can we at least go to a porn convention?
You go right ahead.
I will. I'll bring stories back for the radio show.
I'm good. I'll pass. I mean, I am just as much a fan of porn as the next guy, but a convention, I would feel weird and creepy going to a porn convention.
It's kind of like the people, I don't know, because like it's not like everyone just goes and has sex together, I think.
Well, yeah.
I think, maybe. You meet actors and actresses and shake their hands and get their autographs, I guess. Like, hey, I fapped to you, sign this piece of paper.
Yeah, that sounds borderline creepy.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
Even if no one is interpreting it as creepy, I would myself think about myself that I am creepy. So,
Fair enough.
I just don't think I'd be into that sort of thing.
Do you think we could get KLC to sponsor it?
I really doubt that, but we could try.
What if there's like really popular bands at this porn convention?
And
we do a review of the band, but actually we do a review of the porn convention.
I mean, we might actually have better luck getting the Piolog, that's Lewis and Clark's newspaper, to sponsor our trip to a porn convention.
Well, we could try that.
I mean, they do some weird shit. I don't mind shit talking the Piolog a little because they're not sponsoring our radio show, and they were kind of terrible to me.
And you worked for them, yeah.
And I worked for them. I worked very hard for them and was very underappreciated. But that's a story for another time.
We were talking about scene or goth
yeah,
or something.
well, because I was going to say that, you know, I had some like it wasn't goth and it wasn't even quite emo. It was like scene. It was the people who were stoners but also wore a lot of black and like heavy makeup, black eyeliner.
Yeah.
And weren't really like super dark or depressing, but were into a lot of dark things, even though they themselves weren't just inherently dark and depressing. That
kind of describes me, actually.
Yeah, no, that's what
Although
I was.
I'm not a stoner in any way, shape,
well,
or form.
That's kind of what I was getting to. Is you're like a light scenester. No, honestly, you do remind me a little bit of some of the scenesters that I hung out with in high school, which is also funny because Adassa was totally a scenester in high school too.
That's funny.
Oh my god, like you should see pictures of her. Her hair is just gigantically huge. Like I don't know what she did to it. It just occurred to me, you met her for all of a minute.
I have a very hard time recollecting what your girlfriend looks like, Kevin.
Yeah, we should rectify that because I talk a lot.
Rectum, sorry.
Moving on, I talk a lot about you with her, and I talk a lot about her with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like
Let's go get Mexican food, margaritas.
That sounds excellent. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Dude, I love margaritas.
I know, so do I. And I just had one the other day for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you have a margarita for the first time?
It was like a little Mexican place.
Azteca?
And it's not Azteca.
Dude,
does that even exist here?
Yeah, no, it does. Azteca does. I mean, they're really terrible Tex-Mex, but they do, like, their margaritas are gigantic, and they're really good, actually.
Might have been Azteca. I don't know. It was like a little, I was with Steven, Brenda, and Lee, and we were just, they were just like, hey Colin, you want to come with us to Mexican food? It was like the weekend that school started this year. I was like, okay.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, actually, it might have been the first day I got here, but we just went to Mexican food, and it was great.
Yeah, you know, I've been like, there's this variation on a margarita. Well, it's not really like an official variation or anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a made up variation for like when something is supposed to be pirate themed, called a yargarita. That I've been like, I don't know if it is actually different from our margarita at all, like in terms of what it has in it.
Yeah.
I've always been like curious to try it or something. I don't know. It just sounds like it would be a more like manly pirate version. Not even manly. It just sounds like it would be a pirate version of a margarita.
Yeah.
Like maybe it would have rum in it instead of. Actually, that sounds really terrible.
You say like pirate margarita, and all I can think of, it's a margarita. It's like red because that's what margaritas are to me.
Margaritas are not red.
Really, I had a red one,
dude. Margaritas are green.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe you had a flavored margarita.
I did.
Oh, what flavor?
It's like strawberry.
Strawberry.
Or something,
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, like you say that, and there's a little like toy pirate boat just floating in the margarita, and you have to like drink around it.
I think that would be really cool.
I think it would be really fun. Cause I'm like, I'm playing with my food.
Yargarita.
Yar. Because
I
pirates aren't that classy. They drink moonshine and various things.
I don't know. Pirates can be classy.
That's true.
They do have they do always have chests of gold that are overflowing, which to me seems pretty classy. I always wonder about that. Why do pirates always have chests that are overflowing with? Don't they have like a second chest? Didn't they come prepared to like take home all this gold?
I was thinking more like, why haven't they spent any of it on nicer clothes, food, and like better battlements and better ships and various things?
And like hygiene type stuff.
Yeah, like scurvy anti things.
Scurvy anti things?
Yeah, like oranges and limes.
Citrus.
Yes,
it's called citrus. When you go to the grocery store, Colin, and you go to the produce section, you don't look for scurvy anti things. You look for citrus.
If I asked one of the helpers at Fred Meyer's, like, hey, I have scurvy. Can you get me something that'll cure scurvy? Do you think they'd direct me to the oranges?
I really don't know if enough people are that like knowledgeable about what scurvy even is or how to cure it, because it's such like no one has scurvy anymore.
Well, yeah,
you don't get scurvy.
People eat things here.
Yeah, because I mean, first of all, because this is the 21st fucking century. And we don't live on pirate ships. And secondly, because a lot of the food we eat is infused with enough of the essential like vitamins and shit that we just, even if we never ate a lime for like months, we still wouldn't get scurvy.
Yeah,
because like it works like that in the
modern technology. Gotta love it.
Speaking about food,
food.
I want to talk to you about what I did over the weekend.
Really? Because I had some good food this weekend too.
It wasn't necessarily that we had good food over the weekend.
Oh.
It was we have grapevines in front of our house, like gigantic grapevines.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
You know the tubs that I have all my cooking stuff in, the gigantic tubs? I filled 2 of those with grapes.
Wow.
That's about 60 pounds of grapes.
That's a lot of grapes, Kevin.
Yeah. Half of them are white, half of them are red. I've eaten some of them.
Are you turning them into wine? Is a better question.
Eric is trying to turn them into wine.
Trying.
He hasn't even started.
Of course.
I'm not even going to try because winemaking is, quite frankly, labor-intensive, difficult, and requires a lot of special equipment.
Yeah.
However, I was trying to make grape jam today.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
Like toast and breakfast and things.
I mean, it's really labor-intensive, too.
Yeah.
Because you have to take all the grapes off the stems, and then you have to take the skins off all of the grapes, and then you have to like take the grapes that don't have their skins on them, and once they've simmered and cooked a little bit, then you have to like run them through a contraption called a food mill, which has like a blade on it, and it turns stuff into like you know what I'm talking about.
I know what food processes
are. But it also separates out all the seeds, so you don't get a bunch of seeds in your thing. And then you put just like a shit ton of sugar in it. Like there were, I think, 16 cups of grapes.
Yeah.
And 12 cups of sugar.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
And what you're supposed to do is just sort of like let it simmer. The recipe said 45 minutes, and then it should sort of get to a point where it's pretty solid, and then you can put it in jars and then clean the jars off and like store it and seal it, and you have jam.
Awesome.
And it's preserved for like 6 to 12 months or something.
That's so cool.
What actually happened
was
that everything went fine until I got everything in the one pot and it was simmering.
Yeah.
And then 45 minutes pass and it's liquid. It's soup. It's not even close to being jam. And I'm like, fuck. So I just, I keep letting it simmer, checking it every like 15 minutes. An hour and a half has gone by. It's, it's getting there, but it needs more time.
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know what? I'll just give it more time. And Adassa and I go and watch an episode of Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And by the time the episode is over, and it's only a 20-minute episode, so it's not that long. I'm like, 20 minutes, you know what? This jam has been going for a while. I can just ignore it for 20 minutes. It's fine. Yeah. When I get back, when I like open the door from my bedroom to the hallway, and like the kitchen is right down the hallway, I'm like, it smells like caramel. Oh shit. So I go into the kitchen and like all of the foam, because when you make jam, there's like a little bit of foam that forms on the top. Whatever. All the foam is brown.
Oh boy.
And I take a spoon and sort of stir around, and there's a bunch of burnt stuff on the bottom.
Yeah.
I burnt the jam, and I kind of turned it into caramel. It's like, it's really thick.
Good job.
It's extremely thick. Yeah. It's like grape caramel now.
Did you try it?
Yeah, it's actually pretty damn good.
Keep it.
But it's extremely thick. I'm going to like actually seal it and preserve it, and then see if it's any good later. But but if it isn't, like, I just wasted an entire day. Like, this literally took me the whole day. I started making jam at noon, and it's still not finished. Like, it's 8. Ugh. It's 8 right now, and I still have like 3 more steps to do.
Fuck.
Regardless, the reason why I have this ice held to my finger is because then I got really frustrated because it didn't turn out perfect, and I'm a perfectionist, and especially with food, things need to turn out perfect for me.
Yeah.
So I just got really frustrated, and I took the jars that I was going to put the jam in, and I was just like very angrily ladling the jam into the jars, and the jam is just like hot. It's really hot at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I'm just ladling it into the jars while I'm holding the jar, and like a little bit of jam falls onto my finger and just burns my finger. But I can't drop the jar because it's like over the floor. So I have to set the jar down carefully and then run to the sink. And by that time, my finger is very well burnt. Wow. So that's why. And by now, actually, the ice cube has completely melted. So now I just have a slightly cold, damp paper towel held against my finger. But
excellent.
That was the story of my afternoon.
Cool. I drew not floor plans. I drew blueprints for a gazebo.
Oh, cool.
That's what I did. It's for a design class.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. How's that class going, by the way?
It's going all right.
Yeah?
It's kind of easy.
Yeah.
Because, it's me, but...
Yeah, well, that's really nice. I mean, God, I have an easy semester that, like, my food class is really interesting, but I don't really have to do that much work for it.
Yeah.
It's just like reading and responses. We don't have a midterm. We don't have any papers. We have like 2 projects, which are pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then for my biology class, like it's pretty easy. I mean, the professor is strange, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense most of the time. But it's not a whole lot of work, and, I'm fine with getting like a B or something in that class instead of an A. But yeah, I mean so those are the only 2 classes I'm taking other than my thesis right now, which is really nice. Like, thesis work is ramping up for me majorly.
Yeah.
So,
weren't you reading a poem like last weekend that took an entire day?
Yeah,
and it's still ramping up.
Gawain and the Green Knight.
Yeah. Good poem though.
A great poem. God, I love that poem. We actually read Saint Erkenwald is the poem that we're reading for Mondays, and I'm in charge of like leading the discussion for that.
You've already read it, so
yeah. I mean, I read it again today though, twice, and came up with some discussion questions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, I
did hair dyeing this weekend.
Yeah.
I went off campus to visit some friends, and we had a really amazingly delicious homemade salmon chowder. Yeah. So that was my food story.
Oh,
I didn't make
salmon...
it, but it was amazing.
I don't understand why people don't know about salmon chowder. Like, clam chowder is great. a lot of people like clam chowder.
Yeah.
But salmon chowder is just like fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
At least for me, salmon chowder is where it's at. I love this stuff, but not a whole lot of people know about it, which I think is a
This was
tragedy.
the first time I'd actually heard about it. And then
Really?
She was like, "Yeah, here, Colin, eat this," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so delicious!" And we watched cartoons.
Salmon chowder, like, there's a great salmon chowder place in Pike Place Market.
We should go there when we get back to Seattle.
Yeah, definitely. It's down. If you go into the underground,
Yeah.
there's like a restaurant sort of by some other stuff. I know how
There
to
is a
get
restaurant
there.
in Pike Place Market in Seattle. Okay.
Well, it's in the underground too, though.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny little fish place that overlooks Elliott Bay.
Yeah.
I know exactly how to get there. I just can't describe anything around it because I only pay attention to that place, basically.
Yeah.
But they're like famous for their salmon chowder.
I was having conversations with other people this weekend about how much I miss Seattle food. I think it was Natalie, actually. We were talking about
Yeah.
and she was and like, I was like, "Oh, I miss Seattle food." And Natalie was like, Kevin's been saying the exact same thing.
Yeah,
You two should
God,
talk. So
like-
now we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Although we don't always talk about Seattle food. Because we kind of do.
we really do. Well, okay. Have I told you about Hot Pot?
Yes, you have. I want to go to Hot Pot.
Yeah, we should go sometime. We're both in Seattle also. But so Adassa is also really hooked on Hot Pot. Like the few times she visited me in Seattle,
Yeah.
we went out to Hot Pot and she loves it like even more than I do, which is
Wow.
scary. Like she told me today, she's like, I want to have Hot Pot every week.
Ooh.
I'm like, I love you. Stay with me forever, please. But also, like, we've scoured Portland. There are only like 2 or 3 hot pot places.
Yeah.
We went to like the best hot pot place in Portland the other day.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was okay. It was definitely homemade. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it was a family-run place, and they're hand making the noodles.
Yeah.
And they're like, they brought us some handmade dumplings, and it was really good. There wasn't the same variety, and the flavors weren't as like big and powerful, and it just, in general, I mean, it was a good experience. It was a great meal and everything. It just wasn't as good as
Yeah.
Hot Pot in Seattle.
Maybe you should define what hot pot is in 30 seconds for our listeners who probably never heard of
Okay.
that.
Mongolian hot pot is a thing. It's like Korean barbecue. I hesitate to say it's like fondue because I really detest fondue, but that's kind of what it's like. Basically, you order a bunch of stuff. It comes to your table raw. You have a big pot of broth in the middle of your table. Most hot pot places will do a deal where they divide the pot of broth in half. So it's half original, just like normal regular broth, and the other half is spicy with like chilies and chili oil and peppers in it.
Yeah.
And you cook all of your stuff in the broth and then take it out and eat it. So, they'll bring you really thinly sliced meat and it'll cook in like 30 seconds in the broth. Yeah. And it's really great, and there's a great place in Bellevue that does it. Bellevue is a eastern
Sounds
suburb
kind of
of
similar
Seattle.
to Yakiniku Tabehoudai in Japan, which roughly translates to all you can eat, like cooked meat, basically.
That sounds fantastic.
Have I told you about this?
No, you haven't.
Okay,
how have you not told me about this?
You pay for like a time slot. No, yeah. I think it's always an hour, maybe, and then you pay for the amount of different kinds of meats you can get. But basically, you sit around a grill. It's kind of like Korean thing, but not. It's like, and you just like, there's a grill in front of you, and they just bring you like plate after plate after plate of slabbed meat. And you just put it on the thing, and you cook it, and you eat it, and you just cook and eat and cook and eat and cook and eat.
Do they have? I'm sure they have like side dishes that aren't.
Yeah,
meat.
of course. And like they have like vegetables that you can put on there, but it's like about the meat. And there's like,
Yeah.
I was really, because the last place I went for that in Japan, there's like free ice cream, all you can eat. So I was like,
Oh, that's
I had like
great.
3 pieces of meat and then just kept eating ice cream. It was like, yes.
What is it called again?
Yakiniku Tabehoudai.
Okay, I will. I think that's our show title, by the way.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up, and that we haven't been talking about show titles like at all. So it's when I go to upload the episodes, I'm like, what the fuck do I name the show?
Yeah,
and I can never figure it out.
I think the show titles have been pretty good these past few weeks.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any complaints. I mean,
yeah.
It's not like, oh my god, that's the most genius, brilliant show title ever. But I certainly don't have any complaints. I mean, I I really like that you just named last week's show 4 More Days.
Oh, are we gonna talk about that?
No, because I haven't watched it.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I've only had so much time.
Oh
and
yeah,
I've
I
been
know.
pretty
Between
busy.
making jam, reading St. Arkenwald, and hanging out with your significant other. What a lovely life you must live.
It's actually pretty great.
Yeah, here I am with all my people watching television all the time. No, I have a good life on campus. It's good. But
Yeah, no, on
Cora's
campus
good
life
too,
is.
and you should watch
Yeah.
Cora.
Yeah, I should. I mean, I did watch like season 3, but I mean, season 4 came out so quickly, and I also need to finish watching Hannibal with Natalie. So
well, you should both watch Cora because
Yeah,
it's
we should.
good, and Lydia is going to love the fuck out of this season of Cora because the first episode, fascists, just out of nowhere, and it's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
What
mean, maybe not
everything
fascist,
needs.
but like unification, Chinese history kind of thing. It's great. I love it. Also, the new villain is really, really hot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
New villain. She might not be a villain. So she looks a lot like she looks like Darth Vader without a cape and helmet.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Is she like really badass, like powerful?
You should see.
Okay.
Yeah, she rides around the Earth Kingdom in a giant metal train subjugating towns.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really awesome.
You had me at subjugating.
Yeah. No, it's really great because her fighting style is really bondagey. She has these little like straps of metal that she throws at people that covers their eyes and mouths and like binds their hands behind their back.
That's really
and it's
cool.
like really precise and like surgical and like ooh, it's so cool.
That's great.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really a fan of where it's going. Cora herself only shows up for the last 20 seconds of the episode. And the whole next episode is about how she got from the end of season 3 to the beginning of book 4. So I'm really looking forward to
How many
that.
episodes is book 4?
It's going to be 13 total, and there's 1 out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the same amount as all the other seasons.
Yeah, more or less.
Ish.
Season 1 was
Yeah.
12, season 2 was 14, seasons 3 and 4 are 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It averages out to 13.
Yes, it does.
Per season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, totally off subject, but I just...
Subjects? Do we have those?
I mean, not really, but I mean, okay, the other thing is I think last week's show was really good. Like, I listened to it, even though it was a ghetto episode. I think
Yeah.
we did a really good job last week. That was great.
I barely remember it. Not gonna lie.
And then, like, also, at least so far today, I think this is going pretty well. Like, we haven't... I think I've looked at my run sheet once,
Yeah.
and we've just had conversation.
Let's not talk
which
about how
is-
good we are at our radio show, Kevin.
We're doing great.
Okay.
We're fucking amazing.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, what the hell did you expect? But like,
Title drop way better than we were when you were sick and like going off to the side the entire time.
Yeah. So I want to start doing this thing where we'll bring in like one very strange piece of news each week. So like I'll start this week. Moscow has installed benches, like when in public parks, not in all of them, but Moscow's installed benches in some public parks that when you sit down on them, they display your weight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did the people of Moscow feel this to be necessary?
Generally, no. I mean, it sounds kind of like Moscow, or not Moscow. It sounds kind of like the government in Moscow is trying to do a shame you into shape campaign.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which doesn't really sound like it would work in the first place.
Yeah.
And
Just
also
don't sit on the
sounds-
benches.
Yeah, I mean, and also sounds like a really easy thing to avoid. I mean, not to be callous, but how many fat ass out of shape people are going to go to a public park and, sit down on a bench where they know their weight is going to be displayed.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not, it really isn't going to help. I mean, maybe I really can't see any actual practical situation in which that would be helpful.
It's like public sublimation, I guess. I don't know. It's like
public what?
Like mental, it's mental sublimation. Like if you're thinking about if I don't know, even if you see the weight benches, you'll be thinking about your weight all the time. But not that like you already aren't thinking about your weight all the time. If it's like a slog to even move, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you wouldn't have actually been thinking about your weight. Maybe you would have gone through your day just thinking, whatever. But then you saw the public weight benches and were like, oh, wait. Oh, maybe I should get into shape. And maybe it actually does motivate. I can see how that argument would work. But at the same time, I just think that's a really shitty argument. Yeah. And you know what else is kind of crazy about the story, though, is Moscow, this is not an original idea. Moscow did not just come up with this. It was either the Dutch or the Belgians that have this installed in some of their parks as well.
Did it work there?
I have no idea. The article I was reading didn't say. This comes from NPR, by the way, just for full disclosure. Also, NPR is on. You know how public radio does member drives?
No.
Okay, well, public radio, since it doesn't have commercials or anything, all of its funding and stuff comes from actual people just donating money.
Yeah.
So they don't just ask for money all the time, though. They only do it for small parts of the year. And right now is their part of the year when they're doing their member drive. So it's really annoying actually right now to listen to NPR because every about 30% of their programming is people getting on and saying, NPR is just such a great station because of this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, it is a great station because of this and this and this. And then they're like, and the only way we get support is from donors and listeners like you. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. That is the only way you get support, NPR. And they're like, then you should donate. And I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, maybe when we have...
Maybe when I have more, money.
Yeah, maybe when money's a thing that we have more of. That might be a thing.
When I have to, look at my bank statement and contemplate whether going to KFC will push me over the edge for the month or not. I mean, that's an exaggeration. I'm not living that much on the edge. But,
You don't go to KFC either.
I do. Dude, I went to KFC for dinner tonight.
You go to KFC?
Yeah, of course I go to KFC.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
KFC is my favorite fast food.
Oh, okay.
Either KFC or Arby's, but I really like KFC.
I had fried chicken in the cafeteria yesterday. Does that count?
I mean...
It was actually really good.
If it was good, that's... Yeah, see, honestly, for even not by fast food standards, I think KFC has really good fried chicken.
Fair enough.
If KFC fried chicken had to compete against other fried chickens made by, people not in the fast food business, I think KFC would stand a decent chance.
I'm still never going to go to KFC.
I think the reason why I've started liking KFC is because there was the hotel we stayed at when I was in India.
Yeah.
When we were in Chennai specifically, the hotel served dinner and it was really terrible. It was atrocious.
Yeah.
My God, the food was terrible. So I would go out to eat pretty much every night.
Yeah.
And there were a few restaurants around. But if I walked about a mile down the coast, because it was right on the coast, the beach was right there across the street.
So cool.
So if I walked a mile down the coast,
yeah.
I got to KFC. There was a KFC in Chennai in India, and it was not exactly like American KFC. Also, check your phone. I hear the weird buzzing.
I do too. I don't seem to be trying to receive messages or something.
That's strange. Maybe it's someone outside the studio. Regardless, there's a KFC right there in Chennai. And I think over the course of the month that we spent there, I went to that KFC at least once a week to get like a piece or two of fried chicken and some. See, they don't serve like KFC in America has a bunch of sides like mashed potatoes and mac and cheese and green beans and coleslaw and stuff.
Yeah.
KFC in India does not have any of those sides.
Yeah,
they have
makes sense.
French fries and this thing called risotto, which is like risotto sort of, but Indian style with gravy. Either way. Oh, and they also have a thing called a chicken zinger, which is a sandwich. It's like a bun with a piece of fried chicken breast, some lettuce, some mayonnaise, and a like masala sauce.
Huh.
It was kind of strange, but kind of good. I enjoyed it.
Kevin Ryan, connoisseur of fast food.
No, like,
new on NPR.
No, that is the like. I don't know why, but I think fried chicken, like not even great fried chicken, just like relatively okay fried chicken. That's one of my comfort foods.
I agree.
You know,
Japan turned me on to fried chicken as a whole, and then I learned that my brother and mother like cook together, and they make the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
So whenever I go back home, they're like, "Let's make fried chicken," and I'm like, "Yes." I don't have it like with mac and cheese and like fucking
that
fatty
sounds
foods.
amazing,
Yeah, because like they make like my brother knows how to make really good like homemade mac and cheese. My mom makes really good fried chicken, so we just make fried chicken and mac and cheese, and then we have that with like sitting out in the summer deck.
Great.
Food. I love food.
Yeah, no, so do I. I mean, I feel like we should sometime just do a food show.
Yeah.
Not even just talking about food, but yeah, we should like bring in buffet style, just like a few little bites of a bunch of different foods and just sort of go through and try them and talk about them.
How would we even get that?
Well,
like,
I mean,
the foods I like, you can't really do that with. Like, you can't make like a little Tupperware of pho or something. Like,
no, that's very true. I mean, I think we could manage it in like as long as we are making the food ourselves.
Yeah,
then we
agree.
can make small portions of it, and I have shit tons of Tupperware at my house, and we can just like Tupperware-ize it.
Yeah.
And we can just bring it in here. I mean, as long as we clean up after ourselves, it's fine.
Yeah.
I know there was a radio show like a year or two ago, which all they did were food-themed things, and they like had a hot... I don't know if they had a hot plate in here, but they brought food in here, and they ate in here. And
that's so cool.
I think they may have even cooked in here once or twice, but...
Do a radio show about how to prepare top ramen for our college listeners.
Jesus Christ. I've been eating a regrettable amount of top ramen. Though.
I haven't had it since I got back from Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
We made top ramen so many times.
You're right.
Semester.
Okay.
When we lived together.
Never mind. I haven't had it since you stopped making it for me. That's the better way to put
it. Is my top ramen really that good that you
I have not been able to recreate it. Let us put it that way.
It's really easy, dude.
I have a weird touch for food. It's like, I'll leave it on for another 10 seconds. Oh, it's burning. You know, that sort of thing.
That's what happened with my jam. I don't like to be reminded.
Yeah, I just had a slice of pizza. That was good.
Yeah,
I'm missing a pizza
free
community
ice
builder
cream
right now.
KLC right now too. That if anyone wants to stop by for free ice cream.
Yeah, hey people listening to this live, go to KLC station at Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon, and get free ice cream.
Yeah,
because that's a thing you can totally do.
Yeah. Even the people listening to this live in like Denmark, go to Portland, Oregon, and get free ice cream.
To all of our
now.
Denmark listeners,
to all of our Danish, all the Danish, both of them, probably not even.
You
both.
say both, and I'm like, no, we have like both applied to Portland. We don't have any Danish listeners.
No, we really don't. I mean, I think it would even be generous to say that we have tens of listeners.
Yeah.
I mean...
We have one YouTube comment on all of our videos. Yeah. Total.
I mean...
And bless you, one YouTube comment guy.
Yeah. No, seriously, bless that man.
Or woman or whatever, but...
Yeah.
They commented on the aliens thing. We talked about this before.
That's true. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. My burn is here. Like, look at that.
Your skin is puffing.
Well, yeah, a bit. I mean, it's not as bad as Oh my god, Adassa has this like gnarly burn on her forearm.
Yeah.
That, I'm not shitting you, looks exactly like a chicken breast. It is shaped exactly like a chicken breast, and it's a huge burn, like 2 or 3 inches big, but it's shaped exactly like a chicken breast, which consequently one of her favorite foods.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Yeah,
Hey, Kevin.
Thought it was kind of strange. Huh.
Guess what time it is?
Is it late night time?
I think it's late night time.
I think it is late night time, Colin. Here, let me. Okay, ready?
Am I ever not?
Sorry, I'll stop. George Michael is really dated. We talked about this.
Yeah,
last
let's
week,
not talk about the song again.
No,
we already talked about the damn song.
Yeah,
We could talk about how beautiful my red hair is.
I mean, it is like, I mean, it's very different looking at you sitting down as like when you got up to refresh the stream and then walked back here. I was like, that's a very majestic streak of magenta in his hair.
Would you believe it if I said Lee dyed my hair because she knows how to do it, and I gave her a picture. I pointed at an anime character and I was like, make it look like that.
No, I would totally believe that.
That's what we
I
did.
expected that.
Yeah.
I expect nothing less of you, Colin. That's wonderful.
I tried to make my hair look like Ryuko Matoi's hair from Kill la Kill, if any of you know who that is, and it sort of worked a little bit.
Kill the Kill?
Kill la Kill. It's a show about fascism and clothing.
Kill the Kill?
Yeah, KLK.
KLK.
Kill la Kill.
KLC?
No. It's a pun because it means like two cuts and is killing or something in Japanese. Anyway, whatever the fuck.
That's strange.
Yeah. Talked a lot about cartoons today. There's a time at dinner, which I have. Yeah.
I'm going to turn this
Please
off
turn
because
the
it's
song
very
off.
distracting for me.
I can tell you can't. You're not hearing a word I say.
No, I was listening.
But then the
I
songs,
was also listening
songs
to
in the
George
back.
Michael
Yeah.
and his sweet dulcet tones.
I need more 70s music because I've been
No,
listening.
you don't.
No? Really? I've been listening to the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack because it's like 50 minutes long on YouTube. And
How is Guardians of the Galaxy?
I loved it. You don't like popular movies, so you might not.
I don't like popular movies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a popular movie I like.
Yeah. Like what? You hate Disney. You don't like...
Generally, I hate Disney. Aristocats is fucking awesome.
Okay.
Ratatouille, wonderful.
We should
I
watch
love
Fantasia,
Ratatouille.
but...
Fantasia.
Fantasia. Okay. Anyway, but yeah. I don't know,
Or like,
Kevin.
Gladiator. That's a pretty, like, everyone likes Gladiator.
I don't like Gladiator.
I like Gladiator. Gladiator's great. Russell Crowe.
No! We're not talking about fucking Russell Crowe again.
I liked Noah, too.
I also like Noah. I really like Noah. I just hate Russell Crowe. We'll keep him out of this studio. Go away, Russell Crowe. Get out. Okay, moving on.
There's also a version of Robin Hood that Russell Crowe did where he was a very disgruntled old... I think we even talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
On the
I remember
show.
the episode. Kevin, we've exhausted Russell Crowe. You can't have Russell Crowe.
No, but I want to. I'm sorry. I just keep straying towards Russell Crowe.
You know what's awful? We talked about him at dinner
life.
too, because
you can't escape.
I know, because I was just like, because we were talking about Noah, and I was like, what's his name? And I was like, the guy I don't like, and Aaron was like, Russell Crowe or something like that stuff.
I love how instant that is too.
Speaking of which, Aaron, we need to get him on the show. Or just anyone. We should have a host.
Yeah,
we should have a guest.
We should have a guest host, especially since Mike 3 is working. Go talk into Mike 3 for a second.
Okay, listeners, I am moving to Mike 3.
Yeah, because I want to see if Mike 3 actually does work.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's wonderful.
You can hear me now.
Yeah.
And now you can't. I'm going away from your reality.
I mean, Mike 3 sounds a little bit harsh simply
Now I'm
because
back.
we don't have one of these. What are these called? These weird cloth.
Mike condoms.
Yeah, sure. Mike, it doesn't have a Mike condom on it.
Yeah.
It's the weird like thing. So Mike 3 sounds a little bit weird.
Speaking of condoms, I found a funny thing last night.
Do I want to know?
Yes, it's a website.
Okay.
It's called Rate My Dick Pic. You might,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've heard of this actually.
It's a Tumblr page where people will submit their dick pics for artistic critique.
Yeah, and the woman actually like artistically critiques their dick pic.
Like
It's-
lighting and shadowing
Yeah,
and positioning and angles and all
as
that
soon
sorts
as
of
I
thing.
saw that, I found that like a long time ago.
Oh,
Well,
we
not
just
a
found it
long time
yesterday.
ago, but I found it like months ago. And as soon as I found that, I was like, Colin would be really entertained by this. And I remember thinking that, and then I remember not sending it to you because I could imagine you seeing a rate my dick pic thing come from me and be like, I'm not going to open that.
I would have. But no, I'm glad I found it because I think it's really, really funny.
Yeah,
And some of them are actually really good dick pics. Like, they had great lighting and great chiaroscuro and like great angles, and the penis is positioned properly with the body, and it's like, it looks like fucking formalist architecture. It's really nice. Or
Yes,
like
his-
Greek statues of dudes, except they're dick pics.
I mean, that's pretty admirable to
Yeah.
get a dick pic that looks like a Greek statue.
Well, I mean, it's really fun because like the pictures that are trolling this site are the really good ones.
Yeah.
And I really love that when you have to put in effort to troll things and make it look cool.
Yeah. Speaking about dick pics,
Yes.
do you
Kevin?
remember much of Gawain and the Green Knight?
No.
Because there's, I just,
Are we
I
going to
can't.
talk about medieval literature on
well,
our show now?
just a tiny bit, because I can't get this one thing out of my mind about Gawain and the Green Knight. It's when Gawain is. Okay, I will give a very brief plot overview of this for our listeners. Yeah. There's a guy named Gawain. He's a knight in King Arthur's court. On Christmas Day, a Green Knight comes in. He's like, "Someone chop off my head." Everyone's afraid to. And then Gawain is like, "I'll do it." He chops off his head. The Green Knight picks up his head and is like, "Meet me in a year and I will apply the same blow to you." Gawain is really scared, but he has to go find the guy, otherwise he's not a true knight. He goes and finds this castle where this guy named Bertilick lives. Bertilick is like, "Stay with me, the Green Knight is very, very near to here." Gawain is like, okay, so he stays with Bertilick. Over the course of like 3 days, Bertilick goes out hunting, and his wife tries and seduces Gawain those 3 mornings, coming into his bedroom in various different ways. And then Gawain goes and meets the Green Knight, who turns out to be Lord Bertilick, who doesn't do anything to him, and is like, "You've been a very bad boy," and sends him back to Camelot. That's
That's the entire story?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot more detail to it, but I want to talk actually specifically about the seduction passages, because there's the last attempt for Lady Bertilick to seduce Gawain, I just find ridiculous, because she comes in and the poem describes her as, "Ooh, she's not wearing anything on her head, so her face is showing and her hair is showing, and she's wearing a robe that's, flowing to the ground, and it's open so that you can see her back." And even a little bit of her breast, and yeah, no, which I guess was really sexy in the Middle Age, to see a tiny bit of a breast.
Pornography.
Yeah, but and then apparently she's just like, "Gawain, have sex with me." I mean, it doesn't say what she says specifically, but the poet is like, she makes it so obvious that Gawain. And here's what I kind of want to talk about. She makes it so obvious that she wants to have sex with Gawain that Gawain has 2 really unappealing options. 1, say no to her and be rude and not have sex. Or 2, have sex with his host's wife. Like,
Clearly the answer is to run out of the castle and go back to Camelot.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be being a true knight because he needs to face the Green Knight also.
Okay.
But still, I can't get like that dilemma out of my head.
Because
Like,
you don't know which one to do.
Well, no, it's just like, what a fucking medieval dilemma.
Yeah.
Like, it just baffles me that one of the things that you would think about when someone propositions you for sex is, well, I shouldn't say no because that would be rude. It would just be rude to say no to sex. I mean,
especially if you're like a knight in shining armor with chivalry.
I mean, it's not like a bowl of nuts at a party where you just take some because you don't want to be rude to your host.
Yeah.
This is sex. You're like, oh, well, okay, you offered, so I guess I'll have sex with you. Not to be rude, just, as a polite gesture.
That is weird.
Yeah.
And very medieval.
Yeah.
And not Game of Thronesy. That's how I'm relating this.
Well, yeah, because I mean, and that's what I thought about a lot too with Lady Bertalick, because she's very manipulative with Gawain in so many different ways. Like, she'll say, "Oh, if you were Gawain the true knight, you would give me a kiss. But I guess since you aren't giving me a kiss, you're not a true knight."
Cersei?
Yeah. So Gawain is like, well, damn it, I have to be a true knight. And
but clearly we should make out.
Yeah. So I guess the only answer is that I must kiss her. Which, again, that's just fucking ridiculous to me. How...
This was written like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, I know. But it just baffles me how clearly she's manipulating him. He realizes that she's manipulating him.
Yeah.
And he's still like, yeah, but I mean, I gotta do it. I just gotta do it. She called me not a knight. I can't stand for that. I have to be a knight. I have to, make out with her, I guess.
Isn't Gawain the guy who, happens upon the castle full of virgins and Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
I wanted to ask that question in class, but I felt like I would be such an idiot if I did. Because, we've been having such, intellectual, literary, oh, yes, I think this is indicative of a...
English major.
Yeah, we've been having those discussions in class. And then I would just raise my hand and be like, "Is Gawain the one that in the Monty Python movie he went into the castle with all the virgins?" And everyone would look at me and be like, "Really? You're bringing it to that level? Wow."
Yeah.
But I'm still really curious.
Maybe we should Google that, or our listeners can email in, and next time we'll talk about it on the air.
We should also set up an email where they can email.
No,
in
we
for
shouldn't.
Us. No, we should. We can do that. We can do. I mean, I'm sure no one else has done WTHDYE, which is the initials of what the hell did you expect? WTHDYE@gmail.com. Probably sometime tonight I will set up that email address. So if you do want to email into the show, that email address is available, and then I will personally read out your email on the next show. That would be great for content to have.
Actually, that'd be really fun.
Listeners email
Send us
in.
cat pictures.
Yeah,
we like cat pictures.
Or, I mean, cat pictures don't really translate into good radio. Send us
we can wax
some
poetic about the cat
provocative,
pictures.
It doesn't even have to be provocative. Just send us some text saying something about anything.
Just like hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
I mean, you can even send us hate mail. Actually, it'd be pretty fun to have some hate mail.
Let's get some hate mail. Yeah, tell us
about
how much
you're not
you despise
you're
our
not
voices.
a real show until you get some hate mail.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of need that. Which also we're probably just egging our listeners on at this point.
Yeah.
Not that we have any actual listeners who would send us hate mail. I don't
think so.
I don't know.
It's a pretty willing thing to listen to this. It's not like there's stuff yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you have this on the dial of your car tuner on your radio or whatever, and I guess I'll listen to this because the show I like is coming on later. This is streaming fucking college internet radio. It doesn't, you don't have to listen to it. You can change to another thing. You can listen to Pandora instead of this. But I mean, why would you? Why? This is wonderful radio.
I know, right?
We're producing such great radio. I don't know why anyone would listen to Pandora in light of what we're doing here.
Yeah. Pandora, Avatar.
What?
Never mind.
Are you talking about the shitty James Cameron movie that made all the money?
My mind is playing excuses on me to try and get me to think more about Korra. But instead, I'm thinking about how much I want to play Smash Brothers and not work on my homework. Because the new Smash Bros. Game came out. Woo!
The not working on homework sounds familiar. I've actually been like video gaming a bit too. There's this game called FTL, Faster Than Light.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so much fun.
Good.
It's very strategic-y, but very spacey and really just it's a very rich game for being fairly text-based.
Yeah. Don't you just pretend you're like the captain of the Starship Enterprise and everyone does a different thing?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you have a mission and there is some plot and storyline, but you mostly just blow up ships and get resources and try and make it to the boss battle, and then there's a boss battle that goes on for way too long.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We should play Five Nights at Freddy's.
What's Five Nights at Freddy's?
It's a horror game. It's the Chuck E. Cheese horror game. Have you heard about this at all?
No, I haven't. Also,
should we save this for next time? I can summarize it in 10 seconds.
Summarize it in 10 seconds.
Okay, basically it's a game where the Chuck E. Cheese character mascots come alive at night and you are the overnight host and they will come kill you unless you watch them on monitors, and it's really tense and fun. Dear
God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, I don't know if we've played this song as an outro before, but I'm going to play it again now. Tune in next week if you like the show. This has been What the Hell Did You Expect? And yeah.
Dye your hair in support of the show.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Email in. There will be a thing about that on the Facebook page. So, yeah.
Good night.
Viewers of a weak disposition might want to turn away now.
Oh no!